All right, we are going live. Wednesday night yoga class, unless you're watching this at a different day and time. Either way, welcome to the flow. So this is Power Flow at CJJF. My name is Aubrey. And today I feel like we're gonna do a little bit more side body stretching. Typically in yoga, we focus a lot well, it's really a full body experience, but the front and back side, we do a lot of lifting and a lot of folding. So I want to bring some of that kind of lengthening action to the sides as well in a more intentional way. So it's important to stretch every part of your body. I mean, mobility is really key. Whether you do other forms of exercise and you need some way to gain some more mobility. If you sit a lot during the day, or if you've taken up a certain type of sport where you need some extra flexibility, yoga is a great complement to anything like that. So even if you just need a way to relax, really yoga can support you in all that. So I intend to bring you some of that tonight or this morning or whenever you're watching. We will get started in child's pose. For child's pose, take your toes together, take your knees apart, reach your arms nice and long towards the top edge of your mat. Take some full, slow inhales and exhales through your nose. We'll start with the side body lengthening intention by walking your hands over to the right side of your mat. Continue lengthening forward though, so it's not just about turning over to the side, it's also about creating extension. You can also place your left hand on top of your right to take it even further. We'll take one more breath here. Exhale completely. Walk your hands through, over to the opposite side, left side now. Reach over and extend the same time. All the while I'm still pressing into my hands. The goal is to keep that length, and to do that, pressing into your hands and pushing your tailbone back can just emphasize it a little bit more. Let all your air out. Take your hands to the middle, downward facing dog. Press your chest towards your thighs. And go ahead, pedal your feet if that feels nice for you, or you can stay still and just tune in to how your hamstrings are feeling right now. Next step for your down dog, take your right hand, reach underneath your body to grab your left ankle. So reach over. You might not grab your ankle, you could grab somewhere higher up on your leg. Grab and draw your chest over to the side. You're almost turning your face towards your armpit on the left side. Release that. Replace your hands and then twist over to the other side, left hand to your right leg. Come back with your hands flat, walk to the top, ragdoll pose, grab opposite elbows, let your head drop down, sway left and right. Take yourself all the way up, extended mountain pose. Press your hands together, take them to heart center. And we will officially begin this class together with one chant of Om. Breathe out first. Inhale. Om. All right, let's get into the flow. Extended mountain pose, reach your arms up. Grab your left wrist with your right hand and draw over to the right side. So while you're bending over to the side, take your hips in the opposite direction so you stay nice and anchored down here. Come back to center, switch your grip, lean over the opposite way. Again, lengthening just as much as you're leaning. Come back through extended mountain, arms up. Forward fold, reach towards the ground. Halfway lift, take a deep breath. And come down, chaturanga. So take your low push-up, modified or regular. Inhale, upward facing dog. Press yourself back, downward facing dog. And we'll stay for a moment, just get anchored into your fingers. Look down towards your feet. And then we'll flow. Lift your heels. Bend your knees. Walk or jump to the top of your mat. Inhale, lift halfway. Exhale, fold down. Extended mountain pose, reach to the sky. Grab your left wrist with your right hand, lean over to the right. Inhale back through, switch sides. Exhale as you lean to the left. Inhale to center, you can lean back if it works for you. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, halfway up. Come down for your chaturanga, flow. Upward facing dog. Downward facing dog. We'll keep going with Sun A. Lift your heels, bend your knees, hop or walk forward, halfway lift. Exhale, fold. Extended mountain, reach up. Grab and lean to the right. Inhale through center. Exhale, lean to the left. Anchor through your feet. Come back through mountain. Exhale, bow forward. Halfway lift. Chaturanga. Upward facing dog. Downward facing dog. Lift your heels again. Bend your knees nice and low. Jump or step to the top. Halfway lift. Forward fold. Extended mountain. Reach to the ceiling. Lean over to the right side. Come through. As you exhale, lean the other way. Inhale, expand. Exhale, fold. Halfway lift. Chaturanga. Upward facing dog. Downward facing dog. Breathe in here. Open your mouth to exhale this time. Lift up your heels. Bend your knees. Hop or jump to the top. Halfway lift, take a breath. Bow down, let it go. Chair pose, sit down deep. Reach your arms up overhead and just notice where your weight is distributed. You want the weight more in your heels here so your toes can come up. Stay with chair legs. Open your arms to a T. On your breath in, lift your heart up. On your breath out, rotate just your torso over to the right side. Try to keep your knees in a line here. Come back through chair pose. Arms to a T. Breathe in here. Open twist to the left side. So you're twisting from your core, not from your hips. Keep your hips stable right where they are. Come back to chair in the middle. Sit down 3 more inches. Forward fold, let it go. Halfway lift. Chaturanga. Upward facing dog. Downward facing dog. Step your right foot forward. Warrior 1 pose. So in warrior one right now, adjust your hips so they're going towards the same direction, so facing straight forward. They may not be perfect, especially if you're feeling tight in the front of your left leg. It's all good, you're just working on it here. Reach your arms up if they aren't there yet. On your next breath out, come down to the ground, chaturanga. Upward facing dog, downward facing dog. Take your other foot forward, warrior one, second side. Same thing, work your feet, turn your hips facing straight forward, straight-ish. Your arms go up last. Take a deep breath. When you breathe out, hands down and flow, chaturanga. Upward facing dog. Downward dog. Breathe in right here. Exhale out. Let's keep going with breath. Inhale, lift your heels. Exhale, drop your knees, jumper step forward, halfway lift. Bow down, breathe out. Chair pose, sit down low. And when you exhale, twist open to the right. Inhale to center. Exhale to the left. Inhale back to chair, go a little deeper. Fold over, breathe out. Halfway lift, inhale. Chaturanga, jumper step back. Upward facing dog. Downward dog. Warrior one with your right foot to the top. And then open up to the side, warrior two. For warrior two, check out your feet. You want your feet on one line here, so your front heel lined up with your back arch. Arms stretched out nice and long. As you exhale, sit deeper into your right leg. Inhale, reverse this warrior one. Feel your right side stretch out, and then take a big cartwheel down to the ground, chaturanga. Upward facing dog. Downward dog, breathe out. Take your left foot up, warrior one. Get steady with your legs, and then turn to the right side of your mat, warrior two. Check out your feet and your front knee. If it's caving in, press it to the left side of your mat here. Sit down lower as you exhale. Inhale, reverse your warrior two. Reach behind you, up and back. Big windmill around, chaturanga. Upward dog, breathe deep. Downward dog, let it go. Another round of that version of Sun B. Lift up your heels. Bend your knees lightly as possible. Make your way forward, halfway lift. Exhale, fold, drop your head. Inhale for chair. Twist to the right. Come back to chair. Notice your hips level and even. Keep them there. Twist to the left. Inhale back through. Bow down, forward fold. Lift up halfway. And then you flow. Chaturanga. You can always go slower if you need to. Upward facing dog. Downward facing dog. Warrior one, right foot forward. Inhale, stretch. Exhale, open to the side. Inhale, reverse this. Take a big stretch back. Flow for chaturanga. Breathe in, upward dog. Lift your heart. Breathe out, downward dog. Switch feet. Warrior one on the inhale. Warrior two on the exhale. Reverse it as you breathe in. Big cartwheel, chaturanga. Upward dog, breath in. Downward dog, breath out. One more time, heels up. Bend your knees, jumper step forward. Halfway lift. Exhale, fold. Inhale for your chair. Exhale, twist right. Keep your hips level. Inhale, chair. Exhale, twist left. Inhale to the middle. Bow down, exhale. Halfway up, you rise. Chaturanga, you flow. Breathe in, upward facing. Breathe out, down dog. Right side, warrior one. One inhale to rise up. Exhale, warrior two. If you breathe slower or faster, go at your pace. Reverse, inhale. Chaturanga, exhale, come down. Upward dog, deep inhale. Downward dog, full exhale. One more side. Warrior one on the left. Open up, warrior two. Breathe in, reverse it, take a big stretch. Come through, chaturanga. Breathe out as you bend. Straighten your arms, inhale. Downward dog, exhale. Nice work. Take a deep breath in. And you can open your mouth, sigh it out. Take your right foot forward. Crescent lunge. So you can do the standard crescent with your back heel lifted and drawing away from the mat. You really want it stacked right over the mound of your big toe. Anytime your joints are stacked, it creates a little more stability for your legs to stay put. Expand your arms up towards the ceiling. And now we're going to the open twist over to the right. So in open twist, keep your chest lifted. Reach your arms apart. Deep breaths. Now just like that reverse warrior, you're going to reverse this twist. Take your right hand down the side of your back leg. Left arm goes up. And then come back to your open twist. Back to your crescent lunge. Take a deep inhale. Gently lower your back knee on the floor. Take your hands to frame your front foot. Straighten your front leg. Just a brief half split here. Next time you exhale, place your foot back down. Lift your back knee quietly as you can. Step back into plank. Inhale, shift forward for your chaturanga. Upward facing dog. Downward dog. And then crescent lunge, left foot to the top. Here we go. So remember your back heel position. Take it right over your big toes. And the more wide you have your stance as far as left and right position, if you keep it about as wide as your hips, you'll have a good foundation to stay balanced here. Arms come up if they're not yet. And then on your breath out, open twist over to the left side. Think about drawing up with your heart, but sitting low in your front leg. Just like that reverse warrior. Now your left hand goes down your back leg, right hand goes up, stretch it out, and then come back to your twist. Back where you started, crescent lunge. Gently lower, and then take a half split. Flip your left toes up towards your face here. You won't be here for too long. Breathe out, reset your foot. Place your hands down, lift your knees, step back, plank pose. This time go straight to downward facing dog. And take your right leg up, three-legged dog. Breathe in right here. Draw your knee towards your nose. Step to the top, warrior two. Come all the way up and around. On your next breath in, reverse this. And then take it the other way, side angle lunge. Now with your left arm reaching over your ear here. For a little added intensity, you can take both arms forward, or you can create the bind if you know how to do that. We've got it in a previous class. Make sure you're breathing no matter which variation you're doing here. Stretch from your back foot all the way out through your left fingertips. Deep breaths for 3. For 2. Exhale out. Come back to your reverse warrior 2, but now straighten your front leg. Feels so nice. And then flow to the floor. Chaturanga. Upward facing dog. Down dog. 3-legged dog, left leg to the sky this time. Exhale, pull your knee towards your face. Set up, warrior 2. Pivot your back foot, come around. Inhale, reverse your warrior 2. And then set up side angle lunge, extended. So your right arm reaches towards the front edge of your mat. Keep pushing into your back leg. And then you can intensify various ways. Keep lengthening through your whole right side here. Toes to fingers. Deep breaths for 3. Almost there. Come back to your warrior 2. Reverse it. Take a deep breath. Straighten your left leg out. As you exhale, make your way down. Chaturanga. Upward facing dog. Downward dog. Lift your heels up. Bend your knees. Take a big jump outside of your pinkies. And then if you didn't make it on the first try, you can do one more jump. We'll do it together. So you might even take your fingers a little closer together. So thumbs close, heels up, bend your knees. Lightly as possible, jump outside your pinkies, yogi squat. So in this particular yogi squat, the squat might feel a little more lifted. That's okay. Next move is to create a little bit of side body twist here. So you can keep your left elbow resting or against your left leg. Take your right arm up towards the ceiling here. If you're a little more flexible, you might sit your hips all the way down for this squat. Do what you have available. No matter what you got now, come back to center, hands to heart, straighten your legs. Woo. Turn your feet on 12 o'clock. Hinge forward, grab your big toes. Let your head drop. Let go of your toes. We'll come back to yogi squat. We got to do a second side. So make sure your feet are fully flat. If you're up on your toes, scoot your feet wider. Give yourself some room here. And then we'll set up for the twist. Keep your right elbow against your leg. Left arm up towards the sky. Think about opening up your chest. Take your hands back to heart center. Straighten your legs. And then set up for gorilla pose. Take your hands under your feet now. Bend your knees however much you need to. Let your hands come out. It is time for a crow pose. So for crow, get your hands flat, tail up, lean forward, and then pick up your feet. Maybe one at a time. Maybe you're just holding the yogi squat. Either one is cool. Stay with me and breathe. Keep going for it. Next, exhale. Ooh, yogi squat, come down. And then stand all the way up. Mountain pose. Eagle pose, right side. So I almost fell out of that crow pose. Just know that it doesn't matter how long you've been practicing yoga. It's always yoga practice. It doesn't mean perfection by any means. And that's kind of a good thing. Mountain pose, reach up. Eagle, second side. So I feel like when we start looking at yoga or anything we do really as just practicing a skill, there's less pressure to get it right. It's way more about exploration and the experience of it. Mountain pose. Standing leg raise, right side. So grab your right knee, expand it out to the right. Take your left hand over to the left. And then next step, you can move your eyes over your left shoulder. Come back to center. Reach your arms up towards the sky. And then kick your right foot back behind you, airplane pose. Imagine you're lifting your heart away from the floor, just like upward facing dog. And now rotate open to the right side. Half moon pose. If you've got a block or a water bottle handy, you can use it underneath your left hand. The goal is to use it less and less, so eventually you're hovering off the floor. So regardless of whether you've got a prop or you're using your hand against the mat, now extend your right arm overhead. So you're lengthening out from your back foot through your top fingers here. Take a big inhale. Step both feet down. Shake it off. Extended mountain pose, reach high. And now left side, standing leg raise. So once you lift your left foot up, keep your toes flexed, and then lift, reach out to the left and out to the right. Move your eyes over to the right as well. Take it all to center, and then kick back for your airplane position here. Lift your palms away from the floor. And now we go half moon, open, take your back or your top hip back behind you. And now if you notice the angle of your top foot, what you're going for is flexing it towards the wall that you're facing. If it's turning towards the floor, your hip's got some more room that it can open here. Extend your left arm over your ear. Get long. 3, maybe work that hovering hand. 2, 1, step down, shake it off. Mountain pose, reach to the sky. Take your hands together at heart center. We'll set up for tree pose, right foot against your left leg. So remember to get grounded first. If you're lucky, your floor is a little more solid, a little more flat than mine. So remember this too when it comes to your mat. So if your mat is super squishy and you're wondering why it's hard to balance, it's actually better to have a little bit of firmness underneath your feet. I suppose not necessarily better, but if you're looking for stability, then yes. Keep your right hand near your heart center. Take your left hand up and over to your right. So you're lengthening out your left side body. If it helps you out, you can use your bottom hand in a different way. You can also use it to reach over to the right as well. Come back to center. Back with your hands together, foot on the floor. We'll do another round of tree. This time left foot goes on the inside. Start with your hands together, and especially if you're feeling wobbly, focus more on your feet than anything else. Next level, your right arm can go up and then over to the left. So notice too the angle that you're making with your shoulder. You still want to pull your shoulder back so you're not dipping your chest towards the floor. If you need to move your left hand in a different way to support you, go for it. Come back, hands together, reset your left foot, and let's flow it out. Mountain pose, reach to the sky. Grab your left wrist, lean over to the right. Inhale, up again. Lean to the left. Inhale, expand. Exhale, forward fold. Lift halfway up. Take your vinyasa, chaturanga. Upward facing dog. Downward facing dog. Step forward with your right foot. Warrior two. Been here a few times before. This time straighten your front leg. Reach forward with your right hand. Get as long as you can. Setting up for triangle pose. So you can use your right hand on a prop, or you can use it against your leg to draw your shoulders close together behind you. Look wherever it feels best for your neck. And then we'll take it to extended triangle. Take a giant, like epic guitar solo strum across your body, reach over your ear. Keep pushing into your back foot. Try to stretch away from it with your hand here. Breathe out all the way. Inhale, lift yourself up. And then we'll switch to warrior two, other side here. So turn your left toes towards the back of your mat. Set it up. Straighten your left leg. Reach towards the front or the new front of your mat. Triangle pose. So in triangle, it's similar to half moon, where you're working on stacking your hips. So take your right hip bone, pull it back behind you. And then we'll do that big strum forward, extended triangle, arm over your ear. Notice the angle of your back too. If you're dipping way down, adjust your hand to support you with some lift. Inhale, come up. Angle your toes towards the left side of your mat, side facing wide-legged fold. This time we'll set it up first with a little bit more twist. So think about flat back with your back right here. So basically, even though my legs are wide, I'm trying to lift and straighten my back forward. Once I've got this flat back situation, I'll let my hands dangle down and then fold over until I can touch the floor, just to make sure my back is really strong and straight. If I'm hinging forward somewhere down here and rounding my shoulders, that's not really what I'm looking for. I'm looking for a flatness here. So spinal extension. And it's also good to have a prop if you've got one. Next step, take your right arm up towards the ceiling. It doesn't have to go straight up. Whatever you've got is cool. Take a deep breath here. On your exhale, take your right hand underneath, grab somewhere on your left leg, and now your left hand can come off the floor and behind your back here. It's a pretty deep twist. You can grab anywhere on your legs that feels supportive. If you feel like you're dipping down too low, you can grab up pretty high on your legs. Go somewhere that works for you. Again, rotating from your core rather than your hips. So try to keep your hips steady here. Unwind your top arm. Come back to where it came from. So create flat back. And then take your left arm up towards the ceiling. Now we'll reverse this twist. Once you've lifted, take it underneath. Reach towards your right leg. And once you've made that connection, your other hand, your right hand, can go around for a half bind. And just notice the dipping down of your chest. If you've got that going on, press your chest away from your hips. Keep your spine extending with every breath. Unwind your top arm. Take it back to center. And now we'll do the fold regular style. Focus on the stretch and actually walk your feet in so they're somewhere in between the wide legs and hip distance. So somewhere just a little bit different. Bend your knees slightly and assist yourself, whether that's using the floor for support, grabbing your big toes, interlacing your hands behind you. All of them are really great options. Just focus on stretching now. Breathe out all your air. Lift yourself up to standing. Angle your feet forward for a brief pyramid pose. So your right foot is in front, left foot is back. Hinge forward. Take your hands somewhere supportive. Prop or your leg or the floor. Breathe out all your air. On your inhale, flatten your back. Step to the top. Stand all the way up, mountain pose. And now slide your right foot back for pyramid stance. One more round. Lean your chest forward. Take your hands down. Deep breaths. Turn your right hip bone forward a bit so you really start to feel it. The level hips changes the game here. Exhale everything out. Lift your heart halfway. Take a step up and then forward fold. Breathe out. Extended mountain. Reach up high. And then we'll flow. Forward fold. Halfway lift. Take your chaturanga, this time all the way down to your belly. Relax. One cheek on the floor. Turn your face the other direction. And then take your arms back by your hips. You can interlace them if you want a little extra shoulder opener. We're gonna go to some locust poses. So here we go. Lift your legs, lift your arms to follow. Take a big inhale. Exhale, release. Take your arms to a T shape now, same idea. Inhale, lift up away from the floor. Pull the backs of your hands to the ceiling. When you exhale, lower down. Stretch your arms overhead now. One more time, locust pose. Lift your arms, lift your legs. 3, 2, 1, release. Reach your right hand back behind you to grab your right foot. Keep your left hand reaching forward. And we'll go for a half locust, half floor bow. Now kick back into your hand. You want both sides of your body lifting up. So including your back leg and your front arm here. So both sides. Take a breath. And then release. Swim to the other side. Half locust, half bow. Once you grab your foot or ankle, flex your foot down. And then we go. Kick back, lift up. Try to get your right bicep drawing backwards. Deep breaths. And then release. Let go of your feet. You can bend them. Move your feet side to side. And then place your hands beside your ribs here. Set it up for upward facing dog. Push all the way back, downward facing dog. Breathe in, lift your heels. Breathe out, bend your knees. Jump all the way to a seated position. And then all the way down to your back. Make your way to bridge pose. So if you want to do a lazy bridge, you can use a prop underneath your sacrum here. If you're doing an active bridge pose, try to get your feet to where you can lightly touch your heels with your fingertips. If they're kind of far away, You're not getting as much lift as you could, so step to where you can lightly graze. Push your hips up towards the sky. On your next breath out, lower down. Unless you're propped, you can stay where you are. We'll do a couple more. Inhale, bridge pose. And you can exhale, come down. Another round. Inhale, bridge. Or wheel pose, up to you. We're gonna stay and hold this one. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, keep using your legs. 4, squeeze your glutes. 3, 2, 1. Release to the floor. If you have a prop, slide it off to the side. Take a butterfly pose here. I like to put one hand over my heart, one hand over my belly, just to tune in for a second. Take your legs into happy baby position. So take your legs out a little wide. You can grab your feet. If your feet are not accessible, just grab somewhere lower on your legs. Rock left and right. Let that go. Extend your legs up towards the ceiling. And then place your fingertips behind your head till your shoulders lift up here. Now drop your right foot to hover. And then switch. Scissor kicks for 10, 9, 8, 7, 6. Keep your feet flexing. 4, 3, 2, 1. Straight to bicycles. Go. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Lay back, hug your knees just for a moment. And now you're in the perfect place to grab your knees, rock up and down a couple times, and then make your way to boat pose. So for boat, you can use your hands to start, get set up, pull your shoulder blades back, and then let go. You can either reach your arms forward for this medium boat, or you can take your arms overhead for high boat. Go to whatever feels like your edge right now. And remember that open twist position. Create that with your back here to the right side. Come through center. I know it's a lot. Turn to the other side. Come back through, hands to your heart. And now we're going to go through some quick twists. Twist to the right, twist to the left. 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Come back to your back. Hug your knees. If it feels good for you, you can take a big full body stretch. And then take a little flow back to downward facing dog, however you want to get there. And then set up for your half pigeon pose. Take your right foot forward. Lay your hips towards the mat. Alignment here is keeping your thighs parallel to the left and right sides of your mat. Once your thighs are aligned, you can let your chest come down towards the floor. Reach your arms overhead. Feel free to use props here, so you can always use pillows. I often use a towel or a pillow underneath the hip of my bent knee. So in this case, I would use a towel underneath my right hip just to give me a little extra support. Maybe you need one underneath your forehead or your shoulders. We're going to throw it back to that first child's pose. So start walking your hands over to the right side of your mat. You might not go back as far, that's okay. What you're trying to get is length along your left side. Come back to center. Prop up with your hands. Step back. Walk it out for a moment. Downward facing dog in between. And then set up for your half pigeon. Extend your right leg back, left foot forward. Make your adjustments to get your femurs facing forward here. Once you've got it, take your chest towards the ground. Use some slow, deep breaths here. And now to move over to the left side, walk your hands across and to the left, keeping in mind you want just as much extension as you want the rotation here. So keep your arms nice and long. Go until you feel something happening along your right side. Come back to center, lift your chest, and then take your feet together in front of you for a butterfly pose here. So your feet can be out away from your groin here. They can be pretty close. Go to whatever feels best for you and your knees here. Next step, you can either sit upright, which can be a pretty good stretch by itself, or if you need to, you can walk your hands forward, or even have your hands behind you and focus on drawing your pelvis forward towards your feet. All of them are really good options for the stretch. So now take your hands pretty close to your hips. Extend your right arm overhead and lean over to the left. You can start walking your left hand out to the side. Press against the floor to keep your hips pinned to the ground. And again, notice where your chest is angled. You want it rotating up, expanding along your right side. Switch sides, reset right hand on the ground, left hand goes over. You can walk your hand over further, use it to push your hips back against the floor. Lift up to the middle. Now plant both feet in front of you. Place your right ankle across the top of your left leg. If that's a little challenging, you can always extend your left leg out straight. This is a setup for double pigeon. So next, take your bottom foot over to the side. If your double pigeon is really propped up, you can use a pillow underneath your left knee right here, just to create a little levelness for your hips to push into. And on the flip side, if you're not feeling a whole lot of sensation, you can keep your shins stacked just like they are, but keep scooting your feet out to the left and the right. I'm somewhere in between those myself. So every body is different, every day is different. Just honor where you are today. mentioned that note about practicing yoga. It is truly a lifelong journey. There's never really an end to what you can experience in yoga practice. It's every time you reach, like you achieve a goal in a pose or in your practice, there's a new one to be found, which I think is very exciting. It's kind of like life in that way. So it's up to you to view that as a challenge that sounds exciting or one that sounds daunting. It's really all about perspective. So I invite you to see this infinite potential as something that will support you in growing and learning a lot more about yourself. All right, take your legs out, unwind them. You can give them a little shake and then replace feet in front of your hip bones. Now your left ankle goes over the right side. Make sure your ankle stays over your leg here once you move forward to your double pigeon. So you still want that foot moving outside of your leg. If you move it in, it could put some pressure on your ankles. So keep it up to the side. Make your adjustments with your legs here. And breathe. So when first starting yoga, it can be a lot about mastery of the poses themselves. And I've been discovering the more that I practice yoga, the less it becomes about achieving the poses and more about just that self-discovery component. Like, what happens when you practice the poses? What happens in your thoughts? What happens in your emotions when you go through these postures? There's a lot more to be unpacked with yoga besides just getting a really solid warrior one. And of course, you can go to whatever depth you desire with that. Again, infinite potential. We'll be here for a couple more breaths. Take your legs out in front of you, move them around, and we'll do a single leg stretch. So you can place your left foot inside your right thigh. Aim your torso towards your extended foot. So really turn your body that direction. You've done a lot of this twisting and lengthening, so this is just the same. Use your hands to pull against the floor. Get your shoulders plugging in and your chest aiming towards your foot. Doesn't really matter if you grab your foot. And where we're going next is one more stretch for your side here. So take your hands to the pinky toe edge of your foot. Keep walking away from your hips and out to the side until you feel some stretch along the left side. Be very mindful of how your shoulders are doing. If they're pulling apart a lot, draw them closer together. Keep your spine extending. Take your hands back through. We'll switch sides. Take your left leg out, right foot in. Same idea. Create the angle of your chest towards your extended foot. Use your hands for support, especially support for your back. So notice if you're rounding, draw in. Next step, walk your hands over the outside of your left leg here and keep reaching out. Take your hands to center. Extend both legs in front of you. One more seated stretch here. Same idea, you can use your hands on the floor to draw forward, or you can grab your feet. Or if you've got a towel or a strap, you can wrap around your feet and pull down. Take your hands back for a reverse table or reverse plank. Drive your hip bones high to the sky. And on your breath out, relax on your mat. Take your back flat. Let your legs dangle up for waterfall. If there's another inversion you like to practice, you can work on your headstand here. You can go for shoulder stand. And if you're near a wall, you can actually do this waterfall position with your legs propped up on that wall. We'll be here for just a moment longer. And then slowly bend your knees, pull them in towards your chest. Take a supine twist over to the right side. Gaze over your left shoulder. And then turn to the opposite side. Look over to the right. Rotate your hips facing center. Take your feet to touch. One more butterfly pose. And on your next exhale, open your mouth, let your arms and legs go somewhere that feels restful and comfortable for Shavasana. We'll breathe in together one more time. Sigh a breath out. Let your body melt into the floor. So let this pose right here be another opportunity to practice. So the more obvious practice here is to practice being still, even when it's tempting to move. Maybe your practice is just staying aware of how your body feels. Your practice could be not getting too attached to your thoughts. Your practice could be allowing your muscles to soften. Maybe your practice is just to let go. So in every pose that we do, you can create your own intention for what you want to work on. Not with the intention to achieve the goal, but the intention to do the work. To delight in the process more than the end result. So enjoy the process of resting. We'll be here for a few more breaths. And start moving your fingertips, move your toes. Roll out your wrists and ankles if that feels nice. You can extend your arms overhead. If you want to continue stretching your sides, You can lean over to the right, lean to the left, and then gently draw your knees into your chest. Rock on to one side for infant's pose. And then come up into a seated position, whatever position feels comfortable. Sit nice and tall. Press your hands together in front of your heart. And we will close our practice with one chant of Om. Exhale first. Take a breath. Move your thumbs to connect with your third eye right between your eyebrows. Thank you so much for practicing with me today. I hope you got something new and learned something new for yourself today. The light in me sees, honors, and loves the light in you. We honor the best and brightest in each other as we bow and say, Namaste. Thank you so much for attending this power flow. If you ever have questions about anything, please feel free to post in the chat. I feel like every class we will still be doing power flow, but with a new intention. So if there are any requests that you have for next time, please send us a little note and I will give you what you need. If you haven't noticed, props are really supportive for you if you need an extra lengthening or deepening, blocks, straps. You can use the wall for help. Having a good yoga mat is also pretty important. So just let me know if you need any resources for that. I appreciate your time and your energy. Please take care of yourselves. And I will see you for the next class. We'll be back on Monday night, 7:30. Take care. Namaste. See you soon.